Hello, welcome again to the ARC Smart City Podcast. I'm Jim Frazier, Vice President of Smart Cities here at ARC Advisory Group. Today, we will be examining the economic factors, a subset of the social factors of a smart city. So without further ado, let's jump right in. The first economic factor is regional connectivity. Regional connectivity improves cities and regions and increases economic benefits as greater linkages in regulation, infrastructure, and people boosts productivity. Infrastructure is vital for regional connectivity as the connectivity of people, places, and resources creates the networks needed to support social and economic productivity. Aging infrastructure. The need to invest more into inadequate and aging infrastructure comes at a time when many governments worldwide are highly indebted and face competing demands for scarce resources. For many agencies, this means an increased focus on boosting the capacity and life of existing infrastructure. Finance. Infrastructure investment is critical to the future of smart cities. Much of this investment requires new financing mechanisms that take the burden of city authorities and offloads them to either public-private partnerships or other creative special purpose vehicles. The circular economy. This is where products and resources are reused to extract their maximum value rather than having them enter the waste stream. Resource scarcity and tighter environmental standards propel this forward, as will new technologies and new patterns of consumer behavior. Basically, you can think of it as moving from a take, make, use, dispose, pollute model, a linear model, to a circular model that is make, use, reuse, remake, and recycle. The skills shortage. Cities continue to compete with each other globally to attract capital as well as skilled workers, particularly in the STEM subjects of science, technology, engineering, and math. User centricity. As businesses strive to differentiate themselves and customer expectations continue to increase, the need to innovate around consumer experience is becoming a critical factor for good design, including the design of the built environment. As cities strive to become more livable and direct their increasing attention to citizens as their main stakeholders, user centricity considerations, meaning designing systems that are response-based to citizen needs and desires, are becoming fundamental. That requires a customer-focused leadership, understanding your customer, designing the experience, empowering the front line of the people that actually interact with these customers. It includes developing metrics that actually matter. And this continuous feedback loop drives continuous improvement as well. Responsible business. In addition to profitability, responsible businesses support ethical behavior, economic development, and ensuring quality of life for their workforces as well as society at large, which in the majority of cases does in fact drive profitability. Subsets of responsible business, of course, are sustainable development goals, anti-corruption activities, human rights due diligence, stakeholder engagement, a focus on biodiversity, on responsible purchasing, on social dialogue, while having an eye open to political risk, environmental impacts, as well as a look at the context that each of these businesses revolve in. City resilience. By evaluating exposure to certain risks, cities can develop a comprehensive and proactive plan to mitigate the effects of shocks and stresses. Such a plan should focus not only on infrastructure, but also on aspects of cultural and institutional resilience. The digital economy. Digital technology generates new market opportunities and has a large economic impact over a range of sectors. Think wireless, sensors, mobile devices, satellite navigation, for example, and much more. Then urban logistics. Increasing urbanization, meaning more dense city centers and congestion, as well as paradigm shifts in retail and manufacturing, are truly changing the logistics landscape. Future developments include consolidation centers and drones or UAVs for final mile delivery. Urban manufacturing. As factories become cleaner, greener, and no longer demand huge spaces, many are able to occupy vertical spaces within a city, enabling more central urban factory locations, which in turn can share resources and supply chains. Women's economic influence. In the UK, this year, women's pay will overtake men's. And by 2025, women in the UK will own 60% of Britain's wealth. In Japan, increasing women in the workplace is a national policy objective. Urban regeneration. Urban regeneration can truly revitalize urban areas and spark positive economic, social, and environmental impacts. Think of brownfield construction and the restoring of a city's physical fabric. Small businesses are often the building block of local economies. They adapt faster to changing physical and business climates and keep innovation and growth in communities. Unfortunately, they're also some of the most vulnerable to impacts such as we've had with the COVID crisis. The sharing economy. Traditional models of ownership are changing quickly. We have platform-based peer-to-peer services that are disrupting traditional service industries in cities around the world. Car sharing, short-term home rentals, lighting as a service, everything as a service, etc. The sharing economy enables people to access things they may not otherwise be able to afford, providing an on-ramp to greater economic participation. Supply chain vulnerability. I think we've learned quite a bit about this during our COVID experience over the last year. As cities have moved away from relying on their rural surroundings for resources, including energy, food, and water, a global network of interconnected supply chains has emerged, with distant disruptions able to negatively impact dependent urban areas with relative speed. The informal economy. It comprises a large share of the economic activity in developing countries and can act as an activator for urban transformation, especially in cities that are facing large amounts of rural migrants. Self-sufficiency. Cities are reliant on vast amounts of imported food, water, and other resources. In order to become sustainable, self-sufficiency is increasingly becoming an aim for cities and their inhabitants. Singapore, for example, expects to become self-sufficient in fresh water through recycling and desalination in the next decades. City identity is far more than the planning and design of physical spaces. It includes how cultural and social interactions define a place. The aim is to create public spaces that improve livability as well as people's health, well-being, and happiness. More and more cities are turning to branding and this integrated approach to achieve this goal. Economic growth. The world's top 600 cities are expected to drive nearly 2/3 of global economic growth by 2025. The top 60 megacities will drive just 10% of that growth, while cities between 150,000 people and 10 million will drive 40% of that growth. So that's a quick overview of economic factors of a smart city. Very briefly, we covered regional connectivity, aging infrastructure, finance models, the circular economy, and the skills shortage. We also touched on user centricity, responsible business practices, city resilience, the digital economy, and urban logistics. We also discussed urban manufacturing, women's economic influence, urban regeneration, small business, and the sharing economy. Lastly, we concluded with brief discussions of supply chain vulnerability, the informal economy, self-sufficiency, city identity, and economic growth. As a special offer to listeners of the Smart City podcast, ARC Advisory Group does have a truly special offer for end users of Smart City Technologies. If you join our end user only Smart Cities Digital Transformation Council community for free, you can also qualify for a complimentary full event ticket to our Smart City Forum on February 16th and 17th. That's a $495 value, and you're also eligible for a free pass to our industry forum the preceding week. This Digital Transformation Council meets regularly through the year. It's a discussion group of Smart City best practices hosted by and for Smart City end users. Our Smart City Forum features 2 full days of end user-led presentations and discussions on a wide range of Smart City topics, from the future energy grid to drones, IoT and smart lighting, to the impacts of electric, connected, and autonomous vehicles, and quite a bit more. So if you're an end user, please register for the Smart Cities Digital Transformation Council community at the link provided in this message, and we'll promptly send you information on your free registration for the ARC Smart City Forum. We look forward to seeing all of you at both our Smart City DTC meetings as well as at the annual ARC Smart City Forum on February 16th and 17th. Thank you again for attending this edition of the Smart City Podcast. Thank you very much. Part 2 of a 5-part series about the human factors of a smart city.